Now we're going to get on to aircraft. As you can see, I have a lot of them. So, strap yourselves in. We're going to be kicking ourselves off with the oldest one here. My Cromwell may be the oldest tank, but this is my oldest model, full
Oldest
stop.
tank? Did I hear?
Yeah, Cromwell's my oldest tank.
Oh, my bad.
This is my oldest one. I called it Jill. As you can see, bad writing there. I'm actually going to learn how to spell Jill in Russian, get white paint and write it there. So, I do need to touch it up as the paint has begun to chip away in certain spots, especially around here. And it's silver under there, which was fun to paint. And these are bombs. No, they're rockets actually. Once glued the right way, one isn't, because I was a nut when I built it. But yeah, this was the first model I ever got from my dad to build on my own. He was nearby to make sure I didn't glue my hands together or cut myself with a craft knife or anything like that, but this was the first model I built after building a Dornier D17 small kit set. It was about yay big. Yay big. Unfortunately, that model isn't here because it broke years ago by my brothers being too rough in my bedroom and breaking it. So, yeah, this is the few ones. I do need to get another one of this screen stuff, repaint it, and then paint some dirt over it. And, yeah, one of the propellers did snap off, so that's my Sturmovik. My Junkers Ju-88. Now, this one is actually kind of a bit of a thing. It's to paint to look like a cargo transport with no machine guns. There's a pilot and there is a bomber in there. This one I brought for the same time as I brought my ATST, which I reviewed earlier, because my friend Blaison had invited me to a military-themed all-nighter, so I was like, I'm going to bring a Junkers Ju-88, because Germany, Luftwaffe, why not? The Ju-88 was one of the most successful medium bombers, later heavy fighters, later dive bombers and torpedo bombers of the Second World War. It is amazing to see this model, and it took me forever to get this all done, and the weekend I actually built it, was asleep, basically, for the majority. So, there you go, and it's black underside, which I probably have to touch up eventually, so there you go.
Trying to get it back in.
Pitch Black MiG Area 88 Duncan's MiG 29 landing gear accident. For those of you who have watched the quite old, kind of around the Operation Desert Storm era, BF-109, well, not BF-109, American Operation, would remember a little anime that was one of the first 3 to be ever translated into the English dub, called Area 88. Now they mention a ton of advarks, MiG-17s, 18s, and have different aircraft after the Vietnam War. And I was thinking, what if I had a pilot who was from New Zealand who flew the MiG-29, which is what this one is, the Flieger. Now, this is painted in black as Duncan loves black aircraft. And so, after a landing gear accident where the landing gear deployed and then snapped off, he was forced to land it like this, causing quite extensive damage, which resulted in his aircraft doing a thing like this and then barrel rolling and exploding, supposedly killing him. He, however, used that to go back to Japan with the photographer of the anime, who had the same last name as the main pilot, and told the pilot's lover that his husband, that her lover, was still alive. It is actually quite a touching anime, and I'd love to see a season 3 of it. I would love to see what happens afterwards, because we don't really get told much. And there are tons of A-full Skyhawks. So, yeah. PBY Catlina Mid-War Series Black Cats. For those of you who don't know what the Black Cats were, they were a bunch of PBY Catlina pilots who flew PBY 5A Catlinas, which are flying boats, against Japan in the Second World War, destroying boating in that night. However, this PBY was painted with red, purple, red, and then red up the front here. It's got an early war turret, engines, and styling, but it's actually a mid-war because it's a late variantation that I based it off with early mid parts. This one has crash landed because I've effed up with this model, and the cockpit isn't actually in there, so I've had the machine gunners shot forward through the fuselage and had crushed the cockpit. And that is why why it's called crashed, and why the front landing gear hasn't deployed. Rear landing gear deployed before the pilots are crushed during the crash landing. And there you go. Actually, it was the most pain in the ass one to build. Out of all the models here, that was the more pain in the ass one.
And isn't it the biggest one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Tallest one's my ATST.
Well, of course.
SPD-3 Dauntless Dive Bomber, codenamed Anthony. Based on my friend, Blazehorn, I called this the Anthony because it's original multicolored, which you can't see anymore, and the blue underside. I painted it to look like a thing. This aircraft, the SPD Dauntless, is a magnificently tough aircraft. One of these, successfully killed 3 A6M0s in a dive bomber, and that man is, I forget his name, but I watched Dogfight, so.
You'll probably know.
Episode long, good episode there. Because you see a dive bomber, a heavy bomber, and a fighter bomber all engage fighter aircraft that they probably shouldn't be. Including one aircraft I've got here, so there you go, SPD Dauntless. None of my aircraft have detailing, decals. I will eventually put them on, but not at the moment. So there you go. Fokker 3 Eindecker. 100 years ago this aircraft flew. And we've got what? Stealth capable technology these days. So you know, many different versions. The Eindecker was a World War I aircraft that flew in the battlefields over the western and front. Equipped with a single machine gun, 2 propeller and an engine so crap that it wouldn't be considered even useful for a motorcycle. The Eindecker was a marvel of ingenuity by the German Empire at the time. It would later lead on to such designs as the Focke-Wulf 190 and many of the Bf-109 aircraft when the German Air Force upgraded from their old crappy biplanes into magnificent monowing fighters, of which I have 2. The other ones are bombers. I do have to do a better fix-up. I want to make sure this propeller doesn't snap off, so I'm going to probably put a bit of glue in there. But yeah, it's painted black, and I will eventually put decals on this one. Lockheed's F-117 Nighthawk. Flight mode. The Stealth Hawk, as this is called, the Black Hawk, Nighthawk, was a very odd-looking aircraft due to its airframe. It was rugged, it was fast, and it was deadly. It isn't actually painted because it's still black, as it is, and isn't equipped with cannons. This one has been retired and had the guns removed. This aircraft was used during Operation Desert Storm and was active for, I think, about 3 years before the United States Air Force retired them due to how big their frames were and how much it cost to fix them. The same with the SR-71 Blackbirds. But this was one of the many stealth fighters that the United States ever produced. The other aircraft include that, but the F-117, their B-2 bombers, and the SR-71 Blackbirds all share similarities with the captured German fighter, the Horten 229. So there you go. Why did the Horten 229 why did they share similarities with that? Well, the Horten 229 was Hitler's first ever stealth fighter ever designed. It was the first flying wing, it was the first stealth fighter to use it. And so stealth technology and the B-2 flying wing, as well as many of the other flying wings of the United States Air Force, all share bases with the Horten 229. Speaking about United States Air Force, we have the blue C-130. I'm actually going to be painting over this. I want to paint it to be looking like the Royal New Zealand Air Force Hercules. So, there you go. The Hercules is a very, very well-known aircraft. This one is, of course, no different. Of course, you messed up. Don't get a video for it. Jesus. The C-130 is a troop cargo transport and is used by many navies of the, or many air forces of the world, including, but not limited to, the Israeli, Royal Australian, the Royal New Zealand, the Royal Canadian, I think the Indian, I don't recall, the American, and I'm pretty sure the British. And there's two different variants. It has a Super Hercules variant and an AC-130, which is called the Spectre, and is equipped with two large 105, I think there are 150 actually, millimeter cannons to the side, as well as Gatling guns, and that. Wouldn't want to fuck off a Hercules, would you?
No.
Because you... Hey there, Hercules, give me your lunch money. Yes. This was needed. Oh. The Ki-42 Dyna. I'm going to sneeze.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Scratch your nose, it might help.
So the Dyna was a photo reconnaissance aircraft used by the Imperial Japanese Navy. If you can't tell, I failed to do Japanese run duels on the wings here. I painted it in black for a night ops, but you wouldn't never really paint it black. You would paint it blue, like a dark blue or something. One of the aircraft I've got will actually be better suited for that. But I painted this because it looked cool, to be honest. And other than that, it's a freaking awesome aircraft. By the way, one of these was used in the attacking of the bomber Old 666, which was a 1950 caliber armed machine gun, B-17E. I know my planes. Why? My second Junkers Ju-87 Stuka. My first one actually is with my father. This one, however, isn't painted, is it? The other one is painted green with white and a black undercarriage. This one is painted red, purple,
Blue.
And blue.
Oh.
The Stuka, this one is either the Italian service one or the German service one, depending on the thing. This one isn't. This is used by a private pilot for fun time flying after long hours. So it's got no guns and then, as you can see, it's like that. So that's why it's painted like this. So there you go, my Stuka. The A111 Aardvark. Or was it something else?
It may be something else.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to call it what it is at the moment. What it is the Aardvark, so it's a missile jammer. There you go.
Yeah, there's nothing more to really tell.
It's a missile jamming aircraft. There's actually nothing else I can tell you about it. My other mysterious aircraft, I think this was the F111. I'm pretty sure this is a Russian aircraft, to be honest. It looks cool. I like the look of it, and I painted it in black because black is amazing. Black is simply amazing.
Just two planes we don't know of.
Two planes. Alright, we'll get this one out of the way.
Okay.
I'll review it for you. This one is a Blazhorn exclusive.
Hey.
It is the Blue Midnight Hurricane. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Hawker Hurricane is an entirely wooden aircraft built by the British Air Force. Anthony, my friend Blazhorn, has painted it in midnight blue, as that would be a suitable colour for fighting at night. This aircraft helped win the Battle of Britain, along with the Paul de Fond, which I actually do want to get an aircraft for, and the Supermarine Spitfire. This aircraft is actually produced in more numbers, along with the de Fond, more so than the Spitfire. And was great to use. This thing would target enemy bombers, whilst the Spitfire would go for the fighters, and the de Fond would be used in combat, night fighting.
And to point out now, while I was making this, that snapped off. As you can tell, it's actually bent and not straight. Yeah. And I'm also pretty sure the other irritating part was towards the bottom around this area.
Maybe that one.
Yeah, possibly.
So, there you go.
Certain things you should be really careful of.
Aircraft, and let's get these two lovely looking ladies. We have BF-109s, E3, E4. What's the difference? Well,
Please do tell.
not much, you would say, from looking at it, but however, there is quite a bit of difference. This one would be a lot faster and a lot more able to, and was more heavily armed, as the cannons were bigger, and it would have more machine guns in the wing. The E4 was the version that was given to the Japanese Air Force. My one's had a bit of an accident where one of the landing gear have decided to go nope, and it looks like it's about to flip out on landing. Other than that, I don't have a name for it, and it looks flipping amazing.
It looks more like it's trying to take off, actually.
Actually, it's in the landing position.
The gears aren't, not the gears, it's the flaps.
Would be aimed differently.
They should be aimed up when going down to land.
Yeah, this one is camouflaged, red, and it's called Jingles.
Why is it called Jingles?
To represent my senpai.
Whoa!
It's to represent someone who I actually quite like on the World of Tanks, World of Warships, World of War Thunder gaming person who gives honest reviews about the games. Called the Mighty Jingles, and if you don't know him, you don't know the Gnome Overlord, how could you?
If you don't know him, check out one of his videos. If you like it, subscribe to him.
KV2, man, he's the one who put the derp cannon into fruition. And if you want to see more fun, just head over to it, because he's got witty banter, which is fun. So I painted this, and have tried to get it to Jingles so many times, but unfortunately he has not noticed. And that no.
Notice the plane!
Notice the goddamn plane! Something like Derp Sunday there. So, there you go. And it's red underneath. Because why not? It is the blood of the victims of the salt mine.
Oh dear.
The F4 Phantom D3.
And yes, from a certain angle, it does not look like it's blue. When we come, it looks more like a green. Reason behind that.
There's a sky blue. And this one is actually not just my own. Blazehorn and one of my other friends helped me assemble this aircraft a few years ago when I was building it for the Mayfield show.
That explains it.
I needed to build a version of it and couldn't decide between the D, the E, or the F class, and so I went with the D class, as the D class had these heavy machine guns, barrels, and more missiles than other ones. Also had different engines as well, but as you can see, it has long since been painted over many times, because you can see the old paint chipping through, and I'm probably going to end up doing a dark blue wash over it. But there you go. And unfortunately, the front landing gear did snap off when I was moving. It snapped clean off. So, that is the final model for now. I probably have a lot more models in the work, but again, to run through what each model was, we've got the Stug 3 Black Panther, M1A1, Tiger, purple, Tiger, Silver, actually damaged Bristol Buffalo, Purple Matilda Sturm, Stug 4, Panzer 4 F2, Panzer 4 F2, Mark 1, not Mark 5, Tiger, Pulled from a Swamp, Cromwell, Issue 100, Girls at Panzer, final 3 episodes, F1, KV2, M3 Grantley, the Purple Bismarck, Willys Jeep, Azoid, 3 Chaos Space Marines, the ATST, Junkers Ju-88, M22 Flogger, A1-111, F111, IL-2 Sturmovik, F117 Eindecker, the German Eindecker, the Douglas Dive Bomber, Catalina, Ish Ju-87, Stuka KI-20, 4 Diana, Hawker Hurricane, the F109 E4, BF109 E3, and the A4, the F4 Phantom. I've been Duncannuva.
And I've been Blazehorn.
Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Duncannuva saying G1 Spirion, and good night.